Okay, the first part we need to do is create a new folder. So new project folder. I'm going to call mine Year 11 Woodwork Screencast. Yours can just be Woodwork. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to save our file. So we need to save. We're going to call this the chest project. And save that. So all our components are going to be nested in underneath this. So we need to create a new component underneath it. This component, we can double click and we can call this one end panel. And the end panel is going to be created by several individual pieces. So I'm going to create a new component nested underneath that. So you can see it's changed to an assembly file here. First thing I'm going to do is we're going to do, let's call it bottom rail. And now we can start drawing our components. So it's going to be bottom rail, side rail, and internal, and that's going to create the full end panel. Might be a bit confusing at this stage, but we will work it out as we go. You can see the activation dot is selected for that end rail, and we're going to start to draw it. So I'm going to draw it on any plane is fine for this one. I'm going to draw a rectangle, so this is going to be our material size at 42 by 19. The first, for the end panel, it's a 200mm rail. So once we've got the 42 by 19, we're going to finish it and we're going to extrude our work. So that's going to be 200. So we've got a piece of 42 by 19, 200 long. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the groove in here. So I'm going to select the end and create a sketch. We're going to do a rectangle on the end. It's going to be 7mm down. And I'm pressing tab to tab up to the next one. It's going to be 3mm wide because that's the size of our cutter. Now I want to position this in the middle. The way I'm going to do that is with a little calculation. So between those 2 points, I'm going to start again. I'm going to go between, so the dimension between that line and that line. We know that it's 19 from the overall size, so 19. We're going to take the minus 1 point, sorry, we're going to divide that by 2, and then we are going to take 1.5, which is half of the size that is there. I'm going to put this in brackets to make sure it does the division first, and I'm going to press enter to that. Let's just double check that that's in the middle. That's good. Now what I'm going to do is finish the sketch and we're going to extrude that piece so it does a cut. So just like our piece, if it was timber, we have cut it to length at 200 and then we've done the route. So using a router cutter, routed across the surface of the material to create that groove where the panel is going to sit into. Down here in our extent column, we can go to object and we can click the other side. Now, if we change the size of our work now, that will change with it. If we didn't click that and just did a fixed distance, that groove wouldn't change with the size of this. So that's important for later in the project. So the next thing we're going to do is the dowel holes. If you choose not to do the dowel holes, that's okay. If you struggle with Fusion a bit, if you're aiming to get an A, I'd suggest that you do that. So I'm going to get the center line here. I've select construction line, which is over here, and then I'm going to put 2 circles on there. The dowel holes are 10mm in size, so 10. We're going to do exactly the same, so circle onto the center line 10. We are also going to mark them out. So it's 11mm from the end. It's going to be 20mm in between the holes, and that should leave you an 11mm. Now that's a driven dimension, so this will give me an error, but you can see it's put in brackets. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to finish that sketch and extrude it, and we're going to extrude these 2 pieces inwards. I haven't actually measured the size of the dowel holes. We can change this later, but I'm going to bring it in something sensible. 20mm will be fine for now. You can see that it's also cut in here between where our routed line was. That will actually happen with our piece, so it's not really anything to worry about there. Next thing to do is to set up a plane. So we want to do a mid plane between that side and between this side. Click OK to that, and we're going to mirror. So over here we can come down to mirror, and we're going to mirror the feature from this side. So let's just make sure this is set to feature, and we're going to mirror this feature, and the mirror plane is the one that we just set up. Click OK, and you'll see that's transferred onto the other side. If you want to hide this panel here, what we need to do is we can go into the bottom rail, and where it says construction, that's all your construction geometry, we can click the eyeball and turn that off. So I'd be leaving that off. If I come back to my first sketch here now, and you can all test this, if I made that 300, you should notice that the routed groove comes the whole way still, and the dowels are cut in both sides as well. So that's perfect. I'm going to go back for that because we want it left at 200. Now we have got all we need for that one rail. We're going to duplicate this. I'm going to show you that in the next video.